Chief Secretary Dr. Shwaya. Thank you, members of the Fourth Estate. Welcome to the 12th Post-Cabinet briefing session. The Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Honorable Timoyo, presented an environmental management crocodile made, recycled, crocodile made from material which has been recycled from the Cecil John Rhodes Primary School in a remarkable display of creativity, innovation, and environment consciousness. A group of 12 determined learners recently crafted an extraordinary crocodile artifact using recycled plastic and metal. This thoughtfully designed masterpiece not only showcases their artistic skills but also highlights the importance of sustainability and the potential of repurposing materials. They have dedicated this to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. Dema, because the club was his brainchild after he launched the National Cleanup Campaign in 2018. That's when the school came up with the Cecil John Rhodes Environmental Management Club. The grade 5 learners understood the significance of promoting sustainable practices and reducing the burden on the environment from the President's initiative. Embracing the idea of recycling, they collected and sorted plastic bottles, old cans, and scrap metal from their community. They transformed waste into something extraordinary. The learners embarked on the challenging journey of crafting a crocodile artifact entirely from recycled material. Each piece was carefully cleaned, cut, and arranged with utmost attention to detail. Working collaboratively, they utilized their individual strengths to bring every element of the artwork to life, demonstrating the power of teamwork, perseverance, and the value for collective effort. The creation of the crocodile artifact holds deeper meaning, symbolizing resilience, strength, and harmony with nature. Its presence serves as a reminder of the importance of preserving the rich ecological heritage and embracing sustainable practices. As a remarkable gift to our President, Dr. Dema, this artwork symbolizes the learners' dedication to building a brighter, greener future for Zimbabwe. The crocodile artifact, created by these 12 talented learners, represents a remarkable fusion of art, sustainability, and social responsibility. Through their innovative use of recycled material, they've not only demonstrated their artistic abilities, but also inspired a sense of environmental consciousness within their community. As they continue to unleash their creativity and contribute to the well-being of our country, Zimbabwe, these learners serve as a shining example of how small acts can make a meaningful and lasting impact on our society. Cabinet received an update on maize and tobacco marketing, which was presented by the Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Honorable Dr. Anxious Jongwe Masuka. The nation is informed that as at 10 December 2023, the Grain Marketing Board had in stock a total of 235,095 metric tons of grain, comprising 188,353 metric tons of maize and 46,742 metric tons of traditional grains. At the prevailing monthly consumption rate of 23,000 metric tons per month, the available grain will last 10.2 months. Regarding wheat, the country's current stocks stand at 242,508 metric tons, which is sufficient to provide 11 months cover at a monthly drawdown rate of 21,000 metric tons. Cabinet would like to highlight that the Grain Marketing Board has a 46.8% market share of maize, 7.3% for soybeans, 41.3% for sunflower, 46% for wheat, 63.6% for traditional grains, which translates to 39.4% in terms of the market share of the total marketed crop. A total of 303,719 metric tons, comprising 186,341 metric tons of maize, 121,549 metric tons of wheat, and 5,829 metric tons of wheat flour were imported by the private sector between the 1st of April and the 3rd of December 2023. A cumulative 1,710 metric tons of maize at an average price of $310 per metric ton and 262 metric tons of soybeans at an average price of $500 per metric ton and 234 metric tons of wheat at an average price of $400 per metric ton has been marketed through the Zimbabwe Mercantile Exchange. A total of 31 warehouses have been registered under the warehouse receipt system. On tobacco marketing, the nation is informed that 227.5 million kilograms of tobacco worth $1.196 billion have been exported at an average price of $5.26 per kg, in comparison to 182 million kilograms worth $880 million were exported during the same period last year at a price of $4.83 per kilogram. Meanwhile, a total of 85 metric tons of graded cotton have been delivered across the nation as at 6 December 2023, compared to 55.927 metric tons at the same time in the year 2022. Cotco has received 69.419 metric tons of seed cotton so far. Cabinet also adopted the update on the 2023 to 2024 summer cropping season as presented by the Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Honorable Dr. Encius Jongwe Masuka. Cabinet would like to highlight that the rainfall is expected throughout the country during the course of the week. Farmers are therefore advised that the rainfall season has started and it is likely to be a short season. A total of 2,877,000 hectares is targeted to be planted for summer crops this season as follows. For maize, 1,782,000 hectares, sorghum 350,000 hectares, pale millet 200,000 hectares, soybeans 60,000 hectares, sunflower 160,000 hectares, sugar beans 55 1,000 hectares and cotton 270,000 hectares. Of the total hectarage, 867,000 hectares will be financed by the climate-approved Presidential Input Supply Scheme, the Pfumvudza Intwasa, and the rest by CBZ, AFC, NMB, and other banks, and by the private sector and individual farmers. As at 10 December 2023, and due to late commencement of the rainfall season, about 95,156 hectares had been planted compared to 465,707 hectares at the same time last year. The country has sufficient seed in stock to meet demand, with 40.8% of the available maize seed being of the early to ultra early maturity in terms of variety. Significant achievements have been recorded in farmer training in terms of the Pfumvudza Intwasa plots, and farmers have positively responded to climate proofing interventions during this El Nino year, with 87% of the targeted 11.8 million plots having been prepared. In terms of livestock, the government of Zimbabwe has instituted immediate remedial measures, including bore drilling, hay baling, and enhanced disease management to alleviate poor livestock condition in other provinces. The worst affected provinces are Matabeleland South, Matabeleland North, and Masvingo provinces. Cabinet also received and approved the country's water, sanitation, and hygiene program, which was presented by the Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Dr. Jongwe Masuka, as the chairman of the National Action Committee on Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene. The nation is informed that the National Action Committee superintends over the subcommittees of rural wash, urban wash, and water resources management in order to manage a whole-of-society approach to sector programming. A wash sector working group brings together the government of Zimbabwe, donors, development partners, the civil society organizations, the private sector, and the media. According to the latest ZimVac Rural Livelihood Report, access has improved in terms of drinking water, which was increased from 72% in the year 2020 to 78.4% in the year 2023. And access to basic water services also correspondingly rose from 57% to 60.3%. Cabinet also notes that the defecation has fallen from 30% in 2022 to 28.6% for the year 2023. In terms of water security, Cabinet notes that while dam storage levels continue to decline due to the delayed onset of rains, the current national storage levels of 74.4% is higher than the 54.4% expected at this time of the year. There has been an increased electricity supply model which has resulted in Zinwa's pumping stations capacity increasing to 68% during November 2023. A key highlight in terms of urban water supply is the establishment of the Harare Technical Committee to increase water production, to reduce non-revenue water, and to improve on the water sanitation. A similar committee has also been formed for Bulawayo. The Minister of Higher and Tertiary Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development, Honorable Professor Emon Mruira, as Acting Minister of Health and Child Care, updated Cabinet on the cholera outbreak situation as follows. The nation is advised that as at 6 December 2023, Zimbabwe's cumulative suspected cholera cases were 10,633 with 10,203 recoveries. The acting Minister of Health and Child Care and also the Minister of Health and Child Care, they are set to conduct a field visit to Manicaland province this week to assess the situation and also to find ways of solving the challenges on the ground. A number of measures by the Ministry of Health and Child Care and the WHO have worked on an accelerated model together with the ministry and have developed a framework which also includes the delivery of a huge consignment of cholera response commodities consisting of point-of-use water, chlorination tablets, fluids, and various complete cholera treatment camps, cholera beds, non-food items, mobile toilets, tents, and antibiotics from WHO. These commodities will be deployed to all affected districts and pre-positioned to other hotspots yet to report cases, making them ready to respond to any outbreak. Cabinet also received a report on progress made in the implementation by the Rural Infrastructure Development Agency for the third 100-day cycle priority projects for the year 2023, as presented by the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs in the Office of the President and Cabinet, Honorable Love Mo Matuke. Cabinet would like to inform the nation about the following achievements in terms of projects under RIDA. Under the road maintenance and rehabilitation, surfacing for the Kwekwe Mvuma Road in Kwekwe district is 100% in terms of completion, whilst the Nyakasikana Karanda Road in Rushinga district is 61% in terms of completion. Significant progress has been made regarding the bridge construction, which is the Gungue Bridge in Gokwe North, which is 100% in terms of completion. The Somgolo Bridge in Lupane district is 90% in terms of completion. And the Nzom Mvunda Bridge in Mzarabani district is 90% in terms of completion. Whilst the Muhume Bridge in Murewa district is 80% in terms of completion. The construction of the Halisupi pipe drift in Gwanda is 96% in terms of completion. And the rehabilitation of the Mashoko irrigation in Bikita district is 50% in terms of completion. Whilst the rehabilitation of the Pakanye Dam in Mangwe district is 50% in terms of completion. The drilling of bores in all provinces is 46% in terms of completion, while maintenance of bores has surpassed the target of maintaining 1,000 bores by 2%, giving a total of 1,021 maintained bores. Cabinet also considered and approved the amendment to the agreement between the Republic of Botswana, the Republic of Mozambique, the Republic of South Africa, and the Republic of Zimbabwe, which was presented by the Minister of Skills Audit, Honorable Professor Paul Mavima, as the Acting Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. The nation is informed that the agreement will make the Council of Ministers the principal decision-making organ for the Limpopo Watercourse Commission, so as to improve the governance structure of the Limpopo Watercourse Commission. This initiative will also foster closer cooperation for judicious, sustainable, and coordinated management, protection, and utilization of shared watercourse in line with the 2000 revised SADC protocol on shared watercourse. Cabinet also approved the amendment to the agreement between the Republic of Zimbabwe, on the supply of treated water from the Beitbridge Water Treatment Works in Zimbabwe to Messina Town, which was presented by the Minister of Skills Audit, Honorable Professor Paul Mavima, also as Acting Minister of Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. The agreement will facilitate the transfer of treated water from Beitbridge Water Treatment Works in the Republic of Zimbabwe to Messina Town in the Republic of South Africa at agreed terms and conditions, and also provide a framework for any such arrangements amongst the designated competent authorities. The benefits of this agreement include the following: an improved water resources cooperation and governance framework, improved livelihoods for the people of Zimbabwe due to generation of the much needed foreign currency, strengthened relations and cooperation with the Republic of South Africa, prevention of significant harm in the two riparian states through joint efforts in the management of water resources for the Limpopo watercourse, improved management of water treatment, water supply and sanitation systems in Beitbridge Town due to foreign currency income, and equitable and reasonable utilization of transboundary water resources. Cabinet also considered and noted a report on the 14th session of the Southern and Eastern Africa Consortium for Monitoring Educational Quality Assembly of Ministers, as reported by the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Honorable T. Moyo. The assembly was held in Lusaka, Zambia, on the 2nd of November 2023. Cabinet would like to advise that the Southern and Eastern Africa Consortium for Monitoring Educational Quality Projects are large-scale cross-national research studies carried out in the consortium's member states to assess the conditions of schooling and performance levels of learners and teachers in the areas of literacy, numeracy, and basic health. The consortium has successfully implemented 3 such projects over 5 to 6 year periods, and a 4th project is currently being implemented. At the same time, Honorable Timo, Zimbabwe's Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, was selected as the chairperson of the consortium's management committee. Cabinet also received a report on His Excellency the President, Dr. Idi Mnangagwa's attendance at the Kusi Ideas Festival Summit, as presented by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Honorable Dr. Frederick Makamure Shava. The nation is informed that His Excellency the President, Dr. Idi Mnangagwa, led a delegation to the Kusi Ideas Festival Summit on the 7th of December 2023 at the invitation of his counterpart from Botswana, His Excellency President Masike. The Kusi Ideas Festival is aimed at establishing a Pan-African marketplace for exchanging ideas, seizing opportunities, and fostering innovations that catalyze and propel Africa's development on the 21st century global stage. In his intervention during the deliberations of the Presidential Roundtable entitled The Journey to 2063, The Presidential Perspectives, His Excellency the President observed that Africa had the world's most arable and fertile lands, and the onus was on its people to derive maximum benefit by exploring the natural resource. He gave an overview of the measures the government of Zimbabwe was employing as part of efforts in ensuring food security, including, among others, the 52.19 model. Regarding peace security in Africa, His Excellency the President commended underhand tactics by some powerful countries that purport to enhance peace, human rights, and democracy aspirations, while clandestinely funding conflicts and unconstitutional changes of government for their own self-interest. He also condemned the use of unilateral and illegal sanctions as a foreign policy tool by some states to coerce and enforce their will over sovereign states, including Zimbabwe and Cuba. On another note, His Excellency the President and President Masike of Botswana converged on the need for the people of the two nations to be able to move freely between the two countries by utilizing national identity documents. This initiative is in fulfillment of the ongoing desire and intention by the African continent for deeper integration towards addressing the challenges which the continent encountered in its development aspirations. Cabinet received and approved the report by the National Committee on Drug and Substance Abuse covering the period 30 October to 23 November 2023, as presented by the Minister of Defense, who is also the chairperson of the National Committee on Drugs and Substance Abuse, Honorable O.C.Z. Mchinguri Kashiri. The nation is informed that the National Committee continues to intensify the fight against the scourge of drugs and substance abuse through its pillars, namely the supply reduction, the demand reduction, the harm reduction, treatment and rehabilitation, the psychosocial support and community reintegration, and the media and information pillars. Under the supply reduction pillar, a total of 1,559 people, consisting 112 suppliers and 1,447 end users, were arrested during the reviewed period, representing an increase of 1,165 from the arrests reported last time. A total of 9 hotspots areas were identified, while 9 bases were destroyed in Harare Metropolitan Province and Beitbridge, respectively, with 352 million Zimbabwean dollars worth of drugs confiscated. A total of 30 drug suppliers were convicted, bringing the cumulative convictions since January 2023 to 809. Going forward, Cabinet has agreed that all drug suppliers should not be given the option of fine, but go to court in order to ensure that stiffer penalties are meted. The resource mobilization pillar has scheduled meetings for high-level stakeholder engagements with churches, traditional leaders, the private sector, and development partners to raise the required resources. The media and communication pillar is extensively covering the drug and substance abuse issues, the nationwide model to conscientize communities on the dangers and the effects of drug and substance abuse. The legal and policy pillar has consulted key stakeholders in the fight against drug and substance abuse and is also gathering inputs and in order to come up with proposals on amendments of legislation and policies governing drugs and substance abuse programming. The Ministry of Health and Child Care is already working on principles for the amendment of the Dangerous Drugs Act, and Cabinet has also noted that the National Drug and Substance Abuse Response is on track and continues to be strengthened. It is a science-driven initiative based on a multi-sectorial and a whole-of-society approach. The National Committee on the Elimination of Drugs and Substance Abuse has also stepped up the fight against drug lords and suppliers. Police has provided names and a list of drug barons and suppliers. Some were convicted in court while others are on remand. The following are the list of names of the other members who have been convicted whilst the others are on remand. Evans Dube Leroy Bruce Tungama, who is age 28, Gift Maunda, age 31, Tinashe Murendri, age 24, Nokutaba Svanda, age 31, Lindy Wemkhanga, age 25, Onita Dube, age 31, David Diba, age 48, Rakobi Matekenya, age 35, Shailene Mareza, age 31, Enimo Chiseko, age 28, Tawanda Sibindi, aged 18, Tinashe Nyakunzu, aged 29, Zenzo Mhlanga, aged 43, Simbarashe Mukucha, aged 22, Hilary Motsi, Tembekile Zulu, aged 24, Ronald Mhlanga, aged 24, Honest Ndlovu, aged 22, Linda Spanda, aged 32, Salantine Zangare, aged 52, Messi Muzulu, aged 29, Hitler Tafadzwa Jungura, aged 34, Ellen Munetsi, aged 32, Christina Tsikwa, aged 67, Bobby Kambangura, aged 27, Tafadzwa Tambudza, aged 21, Pride Jeffrey Machiza, aged 31, Alabi Brahima, aged 32, Kulekani Moyo, aged 33, Nometa Mchengwa, aged 25, Mary Mchengwa, aged 37, Atomni Rudo, aged 34, Boniface Mfundisi, aged 26, Joseph Mlea, aged 23, Nyaradzai Chipfuma, Kate Njovu, aged 24, Cleophas Moyo, aged 21, and Colleen Nyakarenga, aged 35. The Zimbabwe Republic Police would like to reiterate that through the National Committee on the Elimination of Drug and Substance Abuse, it will not hesitate to further name and shame drug barons and suppliers in any part of the country. And the public is also encouraged to come forward with any information which leads to the success in terms of a fight against drug and substance abuse. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister and Chair of this session for the presentation. We now move on to two sets of three questions to perfect. So we have the first three questions from members of the press. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. My name is Mugabe from the Herald. When is the free movement between the Zimbabweans and Botswana start? And also, is government is in negotiation with any other countries in the region for such an arrangement that they can travel to other countries with passports, without passports? Also to the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education and the Ministry of Higher and Tertiary Education. And we have seen the innovation by the children of Sisujan roads. What is government doing to inculcate, to nurture and develop such talent?
Yes, any other question? Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Chief Secretary. My name is Ramada Mugabe from the Herald. My question is directed to the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Masike. It's in respect of the Zimbabwe exchange. What is it that is being done to raise awareness on the existence of such a program and the use of electronic wells receipt system, particularly to allow participation of rural and remote areas? Is that platform known by all farmers or intended beneficiaries? I thank you.
Your question is, repeat your question.
The Zimbabwe mentioned our exchange of commodities
Uh-huh.
that the ministry is undertaking. My question is there been awareness so that farmers are aware, particularly farmers in the rural areas, are aware of the existence of that platform?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, can we have the last one? Last question. Yes.
Thank you so much. My name is Manashima Bono. My question is in regard to drug and substance abuse. A lot of arrests that have been done for people that have been convicted are young people, and this can be mainly attributed to issues of mental health. What is the government doing to address issues of mental health to help our young people not resort to drugs? Are we going to have free services to cater for mental health issues?
Yes, over to you, Chair.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Chief Secretary. The first question, I will respond, but I will allow the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education to respond to the second question about the innovation that has been displayed by the learners from Cecil John Rhodes School, in that what is government doing to inculcate and nurture the talent? Over to you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Chair. I wish to thank the member who asked the question on what we are doing as government to ensure that we nurture talent amongst our students. This is a milestone in terms of innovation, and it's very important and indispensable that the skills are being inculcated on very young learners who are grade 5 students at Cecil John Rhodes Primary School. The curriculum that we are pursuing is a competence-based curriculum where we inculcate skills of innovation, where we want our students to be job creators, where we also expect our students not just to regurgitate facts, but we want them to improvise and come up with patterns which would address societal challenges. Then if once they have done that, it means we are able to provide support in terms of research to those youngsters. It's important to catch them young in their primary school so that they are able to innovate and address all the challenges bedeviling society, so that we come up with this type of innovation. And I must commend the teachers for a job well done, because a grade 5 student who is able to be so resourceful, it's also a sign of collaborative learning happening in our schools. That it's not an individual achievement, it's a collective effort by all the learners in our schools, and it's highly commendable. Especially I need to applaud all the teachers in Zimbabwe for a job well done.
Thank you, Honorable. The next question is from Mr. Ramaida Murwira from the Herald to the Minister of Lands, Dr. Masuka, about the exchange commodities platform. That what is the Ministry of Lands doing in terms of raising awareness, especially to the rural farmers, for them to be informed about the commodities exchange platform? Over to you, Dr. Masuka.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you to Madam. I now know that each time I come here, I get a question from Madam. I I don't think it's a farm. The warehouse receipt act stipulates that commodities that farmers trade can be warehoused in a safe place where they receive a proof that they've deposited their grain, and that they could use that receipt for purposes of getting advance loans while their grain is going to be sold at a futuristic date. So in the future, we think actually that the warehouse receipt that the farmers get will be equivalent to a check that they will then be able to utilize to go into any shop and be able to purchase things without necessarily waiting for the payment of the parcel of the grain. So, and the biggest warehouse is the GMB, of course. The Mercantile Exchange is a secondary platform for sale of grain. It allows us to get some price discovery. Ordinarily, since the introduction of this ZMX platform, which is a private sector-led initiative, government through the GMB owns 24.5% shareholding in the ZMX. But this is a private sector initiative, which we fully support. It provides an alternative market for grains within the context of the structured liberalization framework for all the grains. That in the past we used to market everything through the GMB, but now only the PIP, presidentially input surpluses and self-financed, can market direct to the GMB. The rest can market to best advantage and using a platform such as the ZMX. Now, popularization of the ZMX must be a private sector initiative, although it is in the government's interest for farmers to know that there is an alternative market. So we meet every week with farmers associations and with them to try and assist farmers to say there is a market that exists other than the GMB market where they can market directly. We are still grappling with the decentralization of the system so that it can be represented nationwide, so that even the households, wherever where they are and however remote they are, no one is not left behind, so they can access this market. It's something that we are working on, but this is purely a private sector initiative. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Masuka. The next question is on drug and substance abuse. To Professor Mruira, what is the government doing in terms of arresting or managing mental health issues? Over you to Professor Mruira.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think drug and substance abuse is basically an attack on our society, because as you know, society is driven by brains, nothing else. So if those brains are disturbed, especially through drug and substance abuse, it means we basically lose our country, because our country is our people. So government, that's why government has formed this committee. His Excellency the President has formed this committee so that we deal with this issue in a very holistic manner, from the pillar of supply to the issue of rehabilitation of victims of drug and substance abuse. So one proactive issue that the government is doing is to have this interministerial committee and to have a whole of society approach, because what we are doing is to involve civil society, to involve churches, to involve education institutions, to involve health, police, and everybody that is concerned, to make sure that we are dealing with this scourge of drug and substance abuse. So, precisely to say, what is government doing? This is exactly what government is doing, and also we are involved in rehabilitation, just in case people get affected. But the most important thing that Honorable Minister has just announced is to be able to name and shame all those people that have been found on the wrong side of the law, poisoning our society with drugs, so that the society knows that government is dealing with this issue. Police, once a person has been convicted, arrested, convicted, surely it will be announced so that we know who the enemies to our society, are. So basically, in a nutshell, this is what government is doing. The fact that we are talking about it right now means we are broadcasting the message. I thank you, Chair.
The last question is about the free movement of the people of the Republic of Botswana and the Republic of Zimbabwe. The first issue that we need to understand is that the heads of state for the Republic of Botswana and the Republic of Zimbabwe, President Masike and His Excellency President Idi Mnangagwa, have agreed in principle and also in terms of policy direction to allow for a free movement dispensation by utilizing identity documents. Yes, that is good for trade, but the focus today centered on Zimbabwe and Botswana only. Yes, it's also part of the SADC integration plan, which also allows for the free movement of the respective people within the SADC region. But also what is of importance is that we are one people, the people of Zimbabwe and the people of Botswana and the people of Zimbabwe, given the historical background that before these were just colonial borders brought about during the scramble of Africa, during the Berlin Conference, which then colonially created demarcations and boundaries, which then reduced trade, which then inhibited on the free movement of the people from the Republic of Botswana and Zimbabwe. So modalities have been put in place, and in particular for the Republic of Zimbabwe, the Minister of Home Affairs has been directed to start developing a legal and operational framework which will allow, that's the summary of the discussions that centered around Botswana and Zimbabwe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Let's move to the last round of 3 questions for this session. The last round of 3 questions. Yes.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. It's Mugabe from the Herald. My question is regarding the issue of cholera. The issue of cholera has been talked that the inadequacy of clean water, drinking water, especially in Harare, has pushed up the cholera cases in the country, especially in Harare. So I just wanted to hear if the issue of clean water supply has been addressed, especially in Harare. Then on 21 November here, the chair said, on 21 November, during the post-cabinet, they said the city of Harare was failing and government was stepping in. Some of the measures they talked about was a 7-day ultimatum to the city of Harare to deal with, but not limited to vendors who were not in designated areas, that they should be cleared. What is the latest regarding that?
Thank you very much. Any other question? Yes.
Thank you, Masike. Mine is a follow-up to the drug and substance abuse question. My question was on mental health, because if you can recall a rise in suicidal cases and drug abuse cases, which means there is a social problem, which is mental health. How are we going to deal with the issue of mental health so that we do not lose our people to suicide and drugs. Because if we arrest people, they might stop drugs, but they will just go to suicide.
Anyone? Any question? Yes. It's your day today.
Thank you, Chief Secretary. My question is a follow-up to the chairperson. Chair, regarding the issue of IDs, when are the people of Botswana and Zimbabwe, in terms of timelines? I know you might not have the exact dates when they can start traveling, when we can start traveling to Botswana without a passport, but I'm talking about maybe the timelines you are looking at, maybe next year, next month, next week, or tomorrow.
Okay.
No further questions, Mr. Chair. Let's have the responses.
The first question, I will refer it to two ministers because it concerns water supply, which is under Dr. Masuka, and also the Acting Minister of Health, Professor Murwira. So both will contribute towards the response because it's two-way. There's the health aspect in terms of cholera and the water supply aspect. So the question to the two honorable ministers is, what is the latest information in terms of the interventions regarding the supply of clean water with regards to the cholera outbreak? I will start with Professor Murwira, then to Dr. Masuka.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you for the question on the issue of cholera. I think what is very important at this moment to say is that from last week to this week, there's been a 50% reduction in cholera cases in Harare, in Chitunguiza, and across, as aggregated across the whole country. So it means something is happening. That also includes water supply. We are fighting this cholera scourge, and we will win it, but we will win it based on the actions that we take, and those actions include the actions that are being undertaken by the committee that is being led by the Honorable Minister of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water and Rural Development, Dr. Anxious Masuka, and I think he will be able now to give you an update which attributes this 50% reduction to cholera cases. It attributes it to the actions that they have taken. Thank you, Chair.
Dr. Masuka?
Thank you, Chair. I think let's step back and say cholera is a disease of unhygienic practices. It is fecal contamination. To be bold, these are feces that get into our water. So the first attack is to ensure that we stay hygienic. How do we say hygienic in the context of an urban setup where there has been perennial neglect of the conveyancing system to an extent that the sewer is flowing openly, to an extent that there is no clean water that the communities are getting. So that is why the government intervened to form a technical committee to assist the city of Harare and now also the city of Bulawayo. Last week, the government released 18.5 billion Zimbabwe dollars to assist the city of Harare with the procurement of chemicals. The National Action Committee on Water, Sanitation and Hygiene visited Muton Jeffrey works to understand their challenges on the ground, and the sand filters that were broken down, they've started to repair them, and we expect that in the next week or so, we should be able to see the first ones being operational. We also heard that they had suspended the city of Harare generation of water at Prince Edward Works because the second dam had run out of water. We've directed that Dema 1 and 2 release water immediately, and in the next few days you will see us starting to generate water again at Prince Edward Dam. But overall, the messaging, the education, the public awareness ought to be on hygiene. We are also expanding borehole drilling in Harare. The government has allocated a dedicated drilling rig to the city of Harare. It's also allocated another emergency dedicated drilling rig to the city of Bulawayo so that they can look at these communities that are distressed. Beyond that, we have put in place a very comprehensive water sampling and testing task force to ensure that whatever we drill, this water is wholesome, is potable, is clean, and safe to drink. So it is a collective of measures and the whole of society intervention to, as you can see now, the results are that there is a very substantial reduction in the instances, and I hope that this momentum will be maintained so that this medieval disease is eliminated among the staff.
Thank you, Dr. Masuka. Let me also respond for the second time the question regarding the free movement of people from the Republic of Zimbabwe and the Republic of Botswana by utilizing national identity documents. Like I've already indicated, that the heads of state, His Excellency President Masisi and His Excellency President Idi Mnangagwa, have already agreed in principle in terms of policy direction, which clearly shows that there is political will for the two states to start utilizing national identity documents, which also then supports trade and the free movement of our respective people. So in terms of the implementation modality, we expect that given the reality that there is political will and that the two heads of states have already agreed in principle to expedite the implementation in terms of use of IDs within the immigration parameters, that perhaps within the first quarter of next year we expect to have achieved significant progress, because the Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage has already been mandated to ensure that we expedite this matter, which will also enhance trade, which is also part of the SADC integration plan. But at the same time, like I've already indicated, that we are one people because we are all Africans. These were colonial borders created during the scramble for Africa, and in particular during the Berlin Conference. So we expect that in the first quarter of the year 2024, we have achieved so much progress, which will entail that people from Botswana and Zimbabwe will now have free movement between the respective two countries by utilizing national identity documents. I thank you.
There is the issue of drugs.
All right. I will refer the drugs question to Professor Murwira. Thank you, Professor Murwira.
Thank you, Chair. There have been two things that have been said. I will break it down into two. One is mental health problems. Two is drug abuse. Now, we have these two compartments: mental health problem and then drug abuse. And then let's try to draw arrows on this issue. Are the mental health problems causing drug abuse, or is it drug abuse that is causing mental health problems? once the arrow is correct, we'll be able to tackle this problem. Our thinking is that mental health problems are being caused by drug abuse. So when we tackle drug abuse, we will be able to prevent mental health problems. But for those who already have been affected by mental health problems, then we tackle them through the rehabilitation process. So it's a feedback issue of saying if there is more drug abuse, it means we have a positive feedback, it means there is more and more mental health problems. But if we tackle the issue of drug abuse, it means we will have a negative feedback where we will have more and more mental wellness in our society. So it's important that we separate these two issues and then draw arrows in between them and understand that it's the mental health problems that are being caused by drug abuse. But once we have tackled the drug abuse issue from the supply pillar to the reception pillar to the rehabilitation pillar, we will be able to really tackle this problem. So I hope by breaking it down into these two compartments and drawing the correct arrow which points from drug abuse to mental health problems, we are able to tackle this problem. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Professor Mruida. Over to you, Chief Secretary.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. We've come to the end of today's post-cabinet briefing session. I want to thank the Honorable Ministers, senior government officials, and members of the press for attending this session. We will break for 5 minutes and move to the next session, which is a toast the post-cabinet briefing forum. I want to thank you all.